people don't like to hear it, but I think, especially with Rashford and Sancho, man, I just think loans are more likely. Like I do loans with, again, I know we saw what happened with the obligation, but we have to try and sell Sancho. But he's going to aim to run that contract down. Trust me, he's got a year left. He's got a year left, Jadon Sancho. And we spoke about what it's like about if we sort of trigger the extra year to protect value because we'll try and sell you versus we've tried to, by then we've tried to sell you for 2 years and nobody's bought you because your wages are too high. So we're not going to sign up to having to pay you that. You're better off trying to find a solution with whatever happens, because also obligation to buy, we can't even do that because he'd be on a free. Wait, we can't do a loan then. Well, if we do a loan, he just goes on the free.
Of what? Sancho?
Shit. Yeah.
He's got an option, hasn't he?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is would it be the best thing to take that option?
Depends. And but this depends
on a lot of stuff, man.
This is what I was saying yesterday. That as much as we'd already, and we do this every season, don't we? This player's going to go, that player's going to go, that player's going to go. If you said to me, right, so Garnacho, Antony, Rashford, Sancho, I would say maybe 2 of those end up being permanent. The other 2 will end up probably being loans, perhaps. Because again, going to the Rashford one, but I see the same thing happening as what happened in December and January, which is he's going. Ruben Amorim said, I don't want you here. But then Rashford's like, I want to join Barcelona. Problem is, Barcelona aren't in for you. And they do money, blah, blah, blah. Gets to close to the end of the window. And it's like, right, you've got to go somewhere. And he ends up going on loan somewhere. The Sancho one, like you said, well, if he wasn't willing to go into the wage structure at Chelsea, who's going to pay him 200, 250K a week? If it's in Europe, probably not going to happen. Would he go to another Prem team who would pay that money then for that amount? Does he now decide that he's happy to go to Saudi? He wasn't a couple of years ago. So that one is difficult. The easiest one there is probably the Garnacho one. That's the easiest one because he's on what, like 50K a week? So you don't really, no club, funny. Premier League or Europe would worry about giving him what he wants financially because most would give him more than 50K. Premier League, if you want to stay in the Prem, there'll be suitors after him, Chelsea, Arsenal, etc. So that one will happen. The Antony one, I guess you just have to hope that his loan was successful enough that maybe clubs outside of Real Betis want him. There was the report yesterday suggesting that Real Betis were going to put in another loan bid with an option, but not interested. Not interested in that because we need to raise funds. So I think we are going to have to wrap our head around a little bit that a couple of those ones that we'd said, right, Rashford, Sancho, they might end up being loans again, or they might end up just dragging out longer than we wanted.
They just drag out. Yeah, they're too significant. The wages that are attached to these guys. And again, I know we hate to hear it, but it's true, guys. Yeah, it's true. Like from the player perspective and the camp of what they get advised to do, these men are not taking pay cuts, guys. They're not. They're not going to.
Well, Rashford said he would for Barca. But
yeah, and maybe that, maybe, but even that, like, actually, to be fair, if Barca do come, he probably would find a way to make it happen because he just wants to go there. So,
well, he'd have to try and register him. I mean, it took too long. Was it even in March last year? They go,
Danny Olmo, can't play, can't play, bro. So it has to be a really disciplined deal to go to Barca, which we know, because that's apparently where he wants to go. But the Sancho thing, I think it's a really difficult one because there's so many different ways you could play it out. You could say, right, activate that. He's got a year left, put him on loan and give someone an obligation to buy. But the chances are they don't buy him again. And then you're stuck with him for another year, having to commit to those wages by hook or by crook. Then you don't do that. You let him leave for free and you don't get anything for him, but you just cut the ties of this. We've taken the L already. You just got to cut the ties. You just got to get out of the situation and move on. Got to take the licks, innit? Like, this ain't going to be pretty. We want to get as much money as we can for some of the more sellable assets. You can give us something. But, like Michael says there, don't we dare trigger an extra year for Sancho. Let him go for free. It's like, how much do you balance? How good are our negotiation tactics? We just did an obligation and we're stupid enough to have a clause in there that you could pay a 5 million penalty.
Yeah.
That's an obligation where you have to buy it. And he's still here. So I'm worried now about another obligation to flip in Dortmund 20 million now because he's got a year like that. 20 million obligation to buy. Gets to the end of the year, can't really afford him. Didn't good. Then he's back. Then what?
Like you said, you would be saying, if you're going to do those obligations, look at the language involved in there. No clauses, you know what I mean? No returns, no penalties, no anything.
Yeah,
it's got to be clear cut, guaranteed.
Well, the penalty is 20 million.
Yeah, you're paying it anyway. You might as well take the player. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something along those lines. I mean, or you're looking at different dominoes to fall, right? I suppose, because with, for instance, Sancho, if Dortmund had sold Gittins to Chelsea, then you'd go, well, they've got some money then, so maybe they can go get him. But of course, that didn't happen. You're also looking at like Rashford. Well, AC Milan, there were rumors that Leao was going to move to Saudi, wasn't he? Like he might move to Saudi. If they get Saudi money, then they might have enough to go after Rashford. So it's one of those ones where, as it stands, you look at all of the options that would be available for him, and you go, I just don't see where those clubs are going to get money from unless they sell them. I mean, Thornstar says they could buy and want Rashi after the Sané departure. Wasn't it yesterday? They were saying they're going after Nico Williams, I think it was, from Bilbao. Yeah. So they might even be interested in Rashford. I suppose, again, you never know. Sané was on a big wage at Bayern Munich, really big wage at Bayern. But it's going to be tough. Marcus Rashford on Instagram, feeling good again with the smiley face and a picture of him doing his sort of, is it pre-season? I guess technically pre-season.
Yeah,
he's out on the pitch. Out on the pitch. Yeah. Anyway, this guy here, can't even read that out, says, every pre-season he does these photo shoots, but then goes to see boxing matches halfway around the world, days before important matches. Makes no sense if you're feeling good 1 month before the season starts. Rashford responded by saying, I'm feeling good because I'm now injury-free, pal. So like you said, bit of a clap back.
Just a quick, Oh, so it was actually on United District's thread. Yeah, there you go, Dylan. At least you got some traffic. You've been working really hard this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Big up Dylan and the UD crew.
Exactly, UD crew. But he clapped. And you know what I was thinking with it when I was looking at that last night? I was thinking it's one of those ones where, in the same way, Marcus Rashford has every single right in the world to clap back. You know what I mean? When you're on social media, just because you're a professional athlete, just because you're a professional footballer, doesn't mean you have to sit there and take it. If you want to get involved, you can get involved. That's up to you, whether it's a good thing to do or a bad thing to do, whatever. But in the same way, that guy there that says the thing about Rashford going, you do this every pre-season and then you've stunk up the joint, or you're worried, or people criticize you for your lack of determination or focus. When you're going out in Belfast, you're doing this, that, and the other. That fan's right to say that as well. He's factually right. You do this every preseason. Now, every footballer does it every preseason, but also every footballer, wasn't on 300k a week at Man United and was sort of the centerpiece figure and was going out, and they're not showing up to training the next day because they'd been out the night before. That's pretty bad. So it's one of those ones where I actually think both people there are actually in the right, really. Rashford's right to hit back. He's allowed to hit back. The fan, I don't know if he's a Man United fan, but he's right to call him out on it because it is the same. But it's one of the. But when I saw this, I literally just went, I will be so glad of this to not be a thing anymore for us to have to deal with, because I'll be completely honest, when he was at, what boxing match was it? I forget. But when he was at that one, and then but at the time he was injured for Villa, and even the Villa fans,
Whittaker. I think he went to Ben Whittaker.
Yeah, and then even the Villa fans were like, "Oh, I thought he's injured." And then you get in the classic, but he's just injured. Doesn't mean he's not allowed to go outside. This, that, and the other. I just went, you know what? I'm so glad that we're not having to deal with that. I'm just glad that that's their thing that they have to deal with now, because it's just tiring, isn't it?
It's jarring, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It just goes on and on and on. And the problem we've still got, obviously, for this foreseeable in this summer anyway, is what happens. And people don't like to hear it, but I think, especially with Rashford and Sancho, man, I just think loans are more likely. Like I do loans with, again, I know we saw what happened with the obligation, but we have to try and sell Sancho. But he's going to aim to run that contract down. Trust me, he's got a year left. He's got a year left, Jadon Sancho. And we spoke about what it's like about if we sort of trigger the extra year to protect value, because we'll try and sell you, versus we've tried to, by then we've tried to sell you for 2 years and nobody's bought you because your wages are too high. So we're not going to sign up to having to pay you that. You're better off trying to find a solution with whatever happens.